Okay, here we go for another Homes on Homes podcast. We're going to continue this accessibility podcast because I think it's really important. Today we're going to be talking all about aging in place. Years ago, I do believe people thought about that because they bought a house, they bought it for, I remember my daddy bought the house at $26,000.
26 grand.
26
Oh
grand.
my God, hurt.
And I'm telling you, today it's worth, I don't know, 1.2 million.
If I would have known.
Seriously, if I would have known.
I wish I could have buy a house for 26 grand.
But years ago, people really did think about it because they weren't thinking they're buying a house, they're going to survive, we're going to work, we're going to live here forever. That's just the way they thought. Today's a whole new world, man.
Actually, a huge thing that a lot of people don't consider either is retirement.
Yeah.
I mean, this is another subject, but something I've had to think about.
Financial person.
What is most likely to cause me problems in the future in this home?
So for me, the calls that I'll get are either reactive to something that's changed in life, or they're thinking ahead, right?
Which
Aging in
really
place is
doesn't-
all about thinking ahead.
Too many people think ahead, man.
Well, we're consumers, right? We're definition reactive.
I like to see people doing this because it excites me. I mean, if it were me, aging in place means, okay, look, when I bought my place, I have 10 acres, I love my property, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Love my property. And it's about the property because when COVID hit, I was able to go outside and I wasn't stuck in an apartment building.
But-
I probably would have lost my stuff
Yeah.
Fair.
if I lived in a building.
But one would argue, if you're discussing aging in place, that owning 10 acres is too much property to maintain. How
So-
are you going to maintain that entire
No, you're
property?
being sarcastic.
No, I'm actually being quite serious because that is aging in place as well. You don't have to just consider what your stairs or
Okay,
doorways.
let me continue.
They have a ride on, right?
I have a ride
Yeah,
on
okay,
mower.
but-
It takes 4 hours to
there you
cut
go.
my grass.
With a
I
ride-on mower.
shovel, I plow.
What are you going to do when you can't?
Okay, let me continue.
Okay.
Oh, these are the talks.
When
Wow, 'cause I'm
I
a point.
bought this, my whole point was this could be my forever home. I could make the small changes in the house that would it's a small house, not a big house. I don't need a big house. It was make those small changes that would work for me for years to come. I also thought of the future. It's like, well, maybe one day the government's going to allow me to build 2-3 more houses on my property
Right.
where my kids can come and live. You know, I don't know, you know, but
Hence the land, right?
if it's going to work out. But this was my mind thinking that this was easily adapted, right? My front door comes right, or you come out of the front of the car.
It's true. It does. It is good.
It comes right up. It comes up a very gradual run and right into the front door.
You got bird landscape that goes right to the door.
Problem inside.
That's
though,
ideal.
Problem inside is I have 2 steps. So the foyer
Yes.
is pretty much level with the front. Then I have 2 steps up and in. So
Yep.
how horrible would that be to
That's
make
a pretty
change?
easy. We could do that.
I always
easily.
looked at it that I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to need a wheelchair. I'm going to keep going.
Well,
But who
you're-
the hell knows?
The thought is most people will have, oh, no problem, I'll just put a ramp there, right? Door swings in, it's going to hit the ramp. There's no way
And it's a
going to
long
work.
ramp because 2 steps is 16 inches, 15 to 16 inches. And then we go back to the 1 to 12-inch rule. How long is the ramp for a wheelchair?
Look, it's not undoable, but whoever's using that really steep ramp is going to need somebody strong behind them pushing. And sometimes in front, too, for safety.
Now, I could make these changes. That's
not a
me.
A home you want to
There's
live in
2 steps. It's not 200 steps. It's not 20 steps.
It's going to take work, but it's something doable for you.
But I looked at this. Could I live here forever? Could I make those changes? And again, I don't think a lot of people are doing this.
So aging in place, I'm going to say the first point in aging in place that's important to highlight is safety, right? Fall prevention. Because we know that at a certain age, the body doesn't heal as fast as it did when you're younger, right? For the majority of us. So you want to minimize that risk because if you do, there's less chance of that person having a long-term disability where they're going to need to have full wheelchair access.
Let's say that the floor must be seamless throughout the house. No tripping hazards.
No tripping
One.
hazards, yes.
Because she's 85 now. And I mean, she didn't want to move out of the house. That's why we did this. It was
Throw rugs?
throw rugs, right?
That's a good
But you
point,
can
yeah.
trip on that. And that's your point, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, stairs. You got to make sure your stairs are good. Like she had the stairs to her basement that were so steep.
Yeah.
my God, I really thought that she could fall down those stairs.
I
and
mean,
that
we
would be
almost
the
fell
end of
down
it.
those
Sometimes
stairs.
those stairs, by the way, they're so steep you can't even put a lift on them. So
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
that makes sense to me also.
yeah.
My first thought's always going to be you're going to need a washroom on the main floor and your kitchen. Everything in there has to be very accessible because those are things you need in order to live.
So,
Talking
way
about
to
the
go.
kitchen.
Way to go.
Yeah.
What we need to do is, because her house was a 2-story, and most people live in a 2-story home. The bungalows out there, percentage ratio is probably around 7-8%. If
Nowhere near enough
Where it
at
should be.
7%, right? It needs to be much higher to accommodate this growing need of people who want to live in home and age in place.
so, what do we need
Yeah.
when we buy a house to think of aging in place, that we're not going to move from here, which is great for real estate value. You're going to hopefully pay off that house quickly. You're going to have some sort of equity that now you can get a line of credit that you don't use it, but it's there if you need it. Preparing as you get older, right?
Yes.
So these are my advice things. So you just said it.
Yeah.
What do we need?
What do you need to live? You need to use a washroom, you need to bathe yourself, and you need to eat.
There's 7 activities of daily living that a person needs to do.
I'm assuming probably getting in and out of the house so that you can actually get some vitamin D and sunshine and
Well, yeah, I guess maybe getting. We should probably at some point. I think it would be amazing to have an occupational therapist come in, because this is exactly what they do, right? So an occupational therapist works on those 7 activities of daily living that a person must do in order to survive. So an OT helps a person, achieve a level of
gonna look these
independence,
up.
right? To do that, to do the tasks that you need to do. So the home is built around those tasks, including the kitchen cabinetry, the appliances, the washrooms, the stairs.
These are things that we can easily change along the way.
Yeah.
I think it's more about having a footprint on one floor, and I'm talking the first floor.
First floor is great.
It's the one floor that will be essential when you get older.